Previously on Breakfast with Martin Bester.
We are live from the MANCOSA Jacaranda FM Business Breakfast here at VodaWorld, right next to our studios in Midrand. Incredible lineup of speakers, as I've been telling you, and one of them is the one and only Mr. Bryan Habana. So good to see you again. How are you?
Good morning, breakfast team, or should I say business breakfast team this morning. I mean, I have not, and I think I've known X for about 20 years now. I asked him, were there mothballs in that suit that he put on this morning? Because I have not seen him in a suit.
It wasn't this one. Those ones made us look like boys to men, if you remember correctly.
Okay. But so good to be up in the big smoke, the city of gold. Waking up this morning with the sunrise here in Midrand was pretty special, and seeing the energy and excitement coming into the VodaWorld. I mean, I went against traffic, which was really important because you sometimes forget, as a Cape Townian, even though you have lots of traffic, you sometimes forget all the roads in Joburg have traffic. So you might find alternatives, but there's traffic on all the alternatives.
When you know, you know. Last time we spoke to you, you were just about to play some golf.
Yeah.
Some really good golf, and I remember you going on air saying you're going to teach those pros a couple of things.
Why are you bringing this up?
And you are Bryan Habana, and whether it's a rugby ball or a golf club, you're the man.
Did you learn them?
Did you learn them?
I didn't learn them anything. What I did learn myself is that personality gets you hell of a far in the world, because it's definitely not down to my golfing capabilities. I mean, I was the only one of 9 non-professional golfers.
That's crazy.
I got up into the first tee at Royal Birkdale. The grandstand was jammed. There literally wasn't a seat on that first hole's, the first tee box's grandstand. Tommy Fleetwood, local hero, so you can imagine. I reckon there was probably about 4,500 people around that first hole.
Different pressure, eh?
It's a different pressure, and even though I've done it, doing it in front of Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Jason Day in the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan, this was just on another level. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was horrible.
Oh no!
Absolutely, so much so that the announcer on the third hole, which was our final hole, on my putt, Tommy Fleetwood had got his birdie, Miyu Yamacha had got her birdie, and my birdie was to sort of force a playoff against Scottie Scheffler, Justin Rose, and Paulo San Martin. And as I was lining over my putt, the announcer said, "This is a really important putt for Bryan Habana, who's had an incredibly tough day out there."
Is there such a thing as a wooden mic in golf?
Longest walk.
Longest day.
day.
I definitely got that. But I mean, an incredible experience.
Wow,
I think sport, just the cross-pollination of different elements of sport. Now, I love golf. I will be the first to admit I am horrible at it. But I think the skill sets, the life skills it teaches you, particularly from different contexts of rugby, every shot, just measuring yourself, trying to forget the past, moving into the future, that discipline, that focus is incredibly awesome to me.
I think that's why I love hearing from sporting legends such as yourself when it comes to business breakfasts, because I think there's something that you probably learn from being a professional sportsman. I mean, the kind of pressure that you guys are under. If you think to yourself, you walk into a boardroom and you've got to face the board or the shareholders, is kind of pressure. The kind of pressure that you guys, and I remember having this conversation with Andre Pollard very recently as well. Most of us will never know.
No.
Most of us will never know if you're having a tough day on the field and then you are lining up for another kick, or you catch the ball, you're supposed to be doing something, the whole country depends on you. I mean, that's the kind of pressure. Is there something that you take from that into business?
The elements thereof, and I tell people I've been very fortunate in this transition period. There's, in my opinion, 5 things that you need to have if you want to be successful in any form of life, and I've now experienced in business. So discipline is a non-negotiable, sacrifice is a non-negotiable, and hard work is a non-negotiable. You then add on resilience and perseverance, and a lot of those that are able to push those sort of skill sets to the highest really succeed in life. I think the transition, though, is in business you need to apply those skill sets that professional sports taught you correctly. Because I give everyone the analogy, I go into the change room at halftime against the All Blacks, and I look around the room and there's 14 other male CEOs sitting next to me. The best of their best in their position. So all I had to worry about was to do my job to the best of my capabilities to be able to make the team succeed, because I was never going to throw a ball into a line out like John Smith, although Ches and Colby can do that now. I was never going to tackle like Bucky Spuerta or Skalkberger. I was never going to kick to poles like, Percy Montgomery could, although Chesn can do that now as well. I definitely can't chips. But, there's elements that I just had to worry about doing my job the best possible. All of a sudden, I started a fintech company, pay me now 7 years ago. I've got a team of 23, direct reports, of which 21 are female. Now all of a sudden I have to think differently. I have to be more emotionally engaged, and things that rugby didn't teach me. So those 5 skill sets that I mentioned initially, how are you applying them appropriately in whatever line of work you're at? So whether you play rugby, whether you do sports, whether you're an artist, whether you do music, whether you're in business, those 5 principles applied correctly in the form of whatever you're doing is critically important for success to be achieved.
Love what you said about resilience, but we tend to think of sports people and that as something that happens over the 80 minutes that you're on a rugby field, but it's what happens afterwards, in between. You've lost a final. It's those disappointments that I found are the hard ones to lift yourselves from, rather than into the next 10 minutes of a match.
So X is not... I agree with you. It is incredibly difficult. I think what professional sports and that layer of resilience that it gives you is you get an immediate mark. Like you're in everyone's home, you're on everyone's microscope, and you get measured immediately. There's no KPI scorecard review every 6 months, what have you achieved. You are getting a scorecard on a Sunday morning telling you how good or bad you've played by someone that's never played the game before, and then all of a sudden a whole nation's got to believe that scorecard.
There's a guy in the studio saying, "Oh man, that was bad."
That was really bad. And yes, I think in professional sports and maybe in sort of C-suite level business, the biggest form of criticism comes for the self-criticism that you put in, and that measure that you actually on a constant basis are doing. And I think handing over to the real world, life is tough, and whether you're professional sports, whether you're in business, life is really tough, and you need to make those decisions or choices every morning of how you're going to attack this, because if you're just going to sit on your laurels, you're going to be found wanting each and every time.
Brian, you mentioned something earlier about with your company currently, you've got 21 women and you've had to learn other skills. What are some of those skills you think that are the difference between men and women within the business world that you could possibly teach other male bosses right now?
I think purely in terms of getting work done, I am so grateful that I have 21 females as direct reports into me, because females work phenomenally hard and they bring you a different perspective. I think in a masculine environment, I sort of had a situation where one of my reports said, I make her feel. And when you come out of sporting perspective, I can't make other people feel. They feel. So my actions maybe made them feel a certain way, but I didn't make them feel. And all of a sudden, I've got to understand that I need to potentially be a little bit more empathetic, because firstly, the people reporting into me aren't the co-founders of the business. Their contractual obligation is to arrive at 8, end at 5, where mine's a midnight to midnight continuation of everything. So firstly, being able to take yourself, and that's why I say you need to apply those skills differently, because as much as I know how to work hard, I know I need to work hard in a different capacity when it comes to firstly understanding women, understanding how that team context is very different. Not everyone is there to get dividends or profits. Everyone's there to do their job. So being able to facilitate a change in your understanding of what needed. And I think a lot of times the resistance to change is what creates the biggest downfall. And I think for me it is that element of I've really needed to unlearn, and I think if there's something, it's I needed to unlearn to be able to learn.
Gotcha.
And I think in a lot of life, when change happens, we want to be stuck in the systematic way of how things got done. But if you're not unlearning how things got done, you're never going to be able to learn how to do new things.
And that's going to give you awareness, not just when it comes to working with women, different generations, people from different parts of the country, different language groups. I mean, these days in business, you have to, as you say, you've got to be open to it. You've got to be open to learning from someone so that you can manage them better or work with them better. I was trying to think just now, I was going to ask you, but listening to you answer Claula's question there, I was like, the Springbok rugby supporters are that is pressure, guys.
Yes.
They are unforgiving. It's like
we've got very rough supporters.
You're either the best person in the world or you are the biggest villain, and it can happen just like that, right? Yeah. So I was like, I wonder in business, what's the analogy? It's not your listening to you just now. It's the clients are like the Springbok rugby supporters, not the shareholders, because the shareholders might sit back and wait for a report. But clients, you've got to be. You can either be the best chop or the worst chop.
Okay.
You see?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that a good analogy?
They say the customer's always right.
Well,
so you know how.
I don't know if I believe that.
Well, the one I heard is the customer is always king. It doesn't mean they're always right.
100%. The customer is always king. So, are you always putting your best foot forward, and how are you best serving those that are either receiving or experiencing your product or service? And I think that's really important. And great analogy, Martin. I think your sort of shareholders are probably like your management. So, your shareholders are like your Rassie Rasmus of the world that, are constantly criticizing you. But your service delivery or product delivery, is that how your customer is receiving it? And it is instant, because if you mess up, you get immediate feedback or criticism, or you lose a customer, which is one of the worst things that in business you can do. And you're constantly pushing that North Star of how do you grow, but how do you maintain positive relationships to keep the customer/client happy.
I'm so happy that you're part of the lineup today. Thank you very much for coming in. And people will definitely give us a lot of criticism if I'm sitting here in front of Bryan Habana and we're not asking for that.
Ask the question.
There's a big game happening this Saturday. We've got to get to that.
There's a big game happening today. My under 8 and under 12 are playing a schoolboy rugby game today. Oh, not that game. Sorry, not that game.
What was the point of this playing the provincial sides? Did it have any use?
He doesn't like tours. I love tours.
What year were you born?
Bryan Habana. Anyway, so we learned from that, right? There were learnings. And now we're playing.
So, let's firstly go to what is the point of the tour? I think, to have the All Blacks come to South Africa and thump, but also play against players that would have never, ever in their careers got to experience the privilege and honor to play against All Blacks, face the haka, and yes, the scores
and sing the anthem, Brian.
And sing the anthem. A lot of those elements.
Nice?
I love the touring aspect of rugby, because firstly we don't see it. The only opportunity we get is the Lions, and I think for the local franchises to have experienced that's absolutely beautiful. It tests the All Blacks. I mean, playing a test match 3 to 4 days after playing a midweek game, we had the midweek tests, back,
the dirt trackers,
the dirt trackers in the early part of the 2000s, and it just created an opportunity for player development. Given how Rassie has created the structure of player development in South Africa at the minute, we probably don't need tours, given how good the under-18s, the under-20s, and the Springboks are going along with the Sevens team. But I think it's been a really good 3 weeks to experience the All Blacks in a different context to what we normally have, and this is one massive week.
I just don't like losing. I'm a Vodacom Bulls fan. You remember?
I do remember. I'm a fence at the moment.
Don't be like that, please.
As long as rugby wins, right? As long as rugby wins.
That was very diplomatic and well played.
Saturday, what's going to happen?
Well, team will hopefully get announced today. I think Rassie has definitely got 1 or 2 tricks up his sleeve. I think we've had an incredible net of players experience that Springbok jersey over the last month and a half. So I think over 60 players have represented South Africa, with Rassie trying to fine-tune. Let's be honest, as Springbok supporters at the minute, we couldn't be in a greater place. I think we've got to this level of expectation of success, and we beat Argentina in Argentina a week ago. People don't understand how difficult playing in Argentina is, and even just to beat Argentina with a team that hasn't actually been together in terms of the individuals that played is a massive achievement. But we've got so used to the Springboks doing so well that even a 17-10 win in Argentina is not good enough anymore, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But this weekend, a massive test match, without a doubt, rugby's greatest rivalry, but more importantly, 2 of the greatest teams that rugby's ever seen. And what this Springbok team, probably the best generational Springbok group we have ever had over the last 8 years in terms of what they've achieved. We've come to this level of expectation, and the homestead of South African rugby, where a lot of that Madiba magic happened, Ellis Park this coming weekend. I am so looking forward to seeing our first string Springboks team, if there is such a thing. But the best of what South Africa has to offer up against the best of what New Zealand has to offer in one of the greatest rivalries that the game has ever seen. It should be a start of an epic 4 weeks.
In that great stadium, as you said.
In that iconic stadium.
Yeah. Bryan Habana, well said. Thank you very much. Good to see you again, and we can't wait to hear you on stage this morning.
Please put your jacket on before you come inside, though.
Oh my goodness!
It is a business breakfast, Mr. Bester.
You see, I'm ready. I came ready.
Feel Good Mornings start here.
Good morning.
I was saying.
Yo, I'm joking. Sanibonani.
Breakfast with Martin Bester on your number 1 feel good station, Jacaranda FM.